Welcome back, everyone, to the adventures of the Stradiva. Well, folks, we have been Stradivine for a long time. And I'm makes me very happy to think about all of it. And it may be hard for me to organize my thoughts. I've been eating a lot of Jello shots. I got them sitting here next to my next to my mouse over here. But yeah, we got some like scheduling difficulties coming up, and I figure we put a nice little bow on the campaign before we can't no more. And then when we know for sure that we can get to the last 3 or 4 things that we've got for the Stradiva, we'll just hit them in one shots. But for now, I say we do like a wrap up episode. And, just like talk about the campaign, talk about the things that were, the things that weren't, the things that could be. I just lost connection to Roll20. That was weird, because like as soon as I said that, all the music died, and then my screen went to, oh snap, something went wrong.
That's pretty par for
We know-
the campaign.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, we noticed your face wasn't so lit anymore.
Yeah, I was
Pretty good
looking at the
wrap-up.
beautiful Sword Coast, and then all of a sudden, an error screen. Dudes.
Kind of want a map of the Sword Coast, kind of like how we have the there's the Elder Scrolls maps that come with each game. Just like have
Yeah.
those up on the wall along with the map of the fucking Sword Coast.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a big old Sword Coast map on my wall. So, yeah, I had a little bit of stuff. In case I'll give everybody else chances to bring up stuff first, but then to fill airtime, I've got some things I was thinking about talking about.
So who wants to go first?
Any just comments by anybody?
What was our? Do we have the date for our very first session?
I think it was August 18th, 2018.
That's
Holy
fucking
shit.
crazy.
That's 6 years ago.
I had just had my birthday, and then I was getting out of learning Russian for the Air Force, which I never ended up doing.
Oh no. Привет.
Oh, nice. Good work.
Oh.
Say oh shit in Russian.
Oh, shit.
Блед.
Wow.
Сука, блед.
It might be a good thing that you got out of that, because with everything that's going on with the, Ukrainian-Russian war, that's not
Yeah.
necessarily a spot that I'd want to be.
Yeah, it's a little bit turmoily over there.
Yeah, I do have somewhere in it was either, yeah, I put September of 2018, but August. Nice.
Oh, it might be that August we had the session 0, and then September was when the actual questing started or something. In August maybe we were putting together our characters and shit.
I don't think, did we have a session 0?
I don't know that we did for this
think
one.
we
We just
did.
kind of went in and started doing stuff.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about D&D, so you kind of just helped me ahead of time put together Meat, as a character.
Can't you?
Yeah.
Can't we go?
And then
back
I
to the
named
first
Meat
roll?
during our
Isn't there
first
a way?
session.
Oh, I don't know.
I thought there was a way.
Let me move. That'd be crazy.
Hope it doesn't destroy Roll20 to try to look for that far back.
I don't know if I've ever cleared the chat log.
Oh god, so there's like a massive, like, unreadable log out there of just millions of character limits. Like...
I swear I did it. But
Yeah, I've been to the chat log before, but and all I see is a clear chat log button, but I don't actually see a way to get at it now. Oh, you know what? You probably have to go in outside. Let me see.
Wonder if you can request the chat log, like, records be sent to you from Roll20 and it just, like, sends you, like, 8 reams of paper. Just printouts.
$400 in shipping.
Yeah. A lot of fucking, what is it? The hit dice? Like, seeing everybody doing a short rest and getting, like, hit dice back.
Yeah, I can't find it. Oh, nope, never mind. I found it.
first, was this right? Constitution saving throw by me?
Wait, really?
I think so. Wow.
No, this wasn't even that far behind because Meat he had a plus 12 on his con save after that. And there's no way you had that at level 1.
I mean, his constitution was always pretty high.
Was it 11? Probably. I don't know.
But yeah. Let's see.
Remember that little piece of shit dwarf that sent us into that cave? And then the cave exploded behind us and we had to go through the whole Underdark?
I do remember that.
Whatever happened to him? Oh wait, no, that's right. I think Meat punched him in the nuts or something. Like when we went back up top.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't think you guys were very happy with him.
Yeah. I could have swore we kicked the shit out of him.
Yeah, I definitely remember going back because that was like the first thing we ever did. We met at the
Mhm.
tavern and then we went to the little like board with all the job options.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
that's the job option we
That's-
chose.
Yeah, we found the flyer.
And the first friend we ever met, Jeremiah.
Was he?
Who?
The frog.
I'm just
Yeah, who?
You weren't there.
He's
Yeah,
literally,
you there.
he's literally at my fucking like animal sanctuary. Like, who the fuck are you talking about? No idea.
In the Discord. Did we first play in this Discord?
Thought we did.
Because when we joined this Discord, it was November 5th, 2018.
But maybe we hadn't established.
Oh, we were probably
What?
playing in like a group call or something, and we hadn't established a like actual
Yeah.
Discord for it yet. Oh, I think, weren't we playing in your old server? And then we moved over?
Possibly.
I think that might have been it.
But either way, we know it's like fall of 18, right?
Yeah.
That's what we said.
Late summer, early fall.
Yeah.
It's like 5.5 years.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
That's
guys,
a
it's been
miracle.
good.
So, I was like looking at my list here, and the first thing was the deck of not many things. What's the first thing I had written down in advance of stuff I was going to talk about? Well, we already got to that one.
Yes, we did.
That was funny. It was such
When
an
you-
intense moment, like we were all waiting to explode randomly or have some who knows what happen from a
Oh yeah, I
card
was
drawn.
terrified.
Meanwhile, Meat's just kind of sitting back like, I've lived a long life. Let's see what happens.
I am gonna need y'all's assistance with something.
Oh, yes.
I'm planning on, and have been planning on for a little bit. I just haven't been able to really get around to it. Challenge coins. So, and I'll post them in general. The back of the coin. So everybody, the one side of the coin will be the same for everybody. Be the same image. But the other side of the coin is going to be customized to everyone. And I need to figure out what to put for everybody's coin. And we're like, Joe and I were talking about like maybe picking like a symbol or some sort of image that would
Something that signifies a big
something that
achievement that your
signifies-
character had in their story.
right. So I'm putting it in general, but this is what the back of the coin is going to look like. What
Ooh.
everybody's coin will look like.
Hell
Oh, and
yeah.
those are the three options of like
And
the
those-
metal.
yeah, because I've had challenge coins made before for our other server. So those are the options: is copper, brass, and Melchior.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I have to figure out what we're gonna do for the other side of the coin for everybody.
Like for mine, I was thinking it'd be cool to have like a silhouette of like a castle keep with like a dragon perched on top of it, and then like maybe banners representing the different tribes of the marsh, like on the keep.
I have a sort of idea, but I'm gonna need to finish my end story first, so I
Mm,
can't tell you yet.
Oh,
gotcha.
Well, how about this? What happens to Manasa after, when you guys have some time apart?
she lives
Alright.
happily ever after.
Kind of, yeah. I've got my island, my brewery, so I spend a lot of time on that. I don't spend quite as much time on the Druid's Groove as I used to. At some point, I get a visit from Brassius, the gold dragon that we met. You guys remember we stole
Yep.
the theater stuff? I had
I
sex
do.
with him.
Alright, well,
You're gonna be more specific on that.
that does not narrow it down at all.
Before we went on that caper where we broke into the vault, we were in Silvery Moon, and we had dinner with this really gorgeous looking guy. And then I went and had sex with him, and later on we found out that he was a gold dragon in disguise.
I remember.
You guys don't remember this?
No, I do.
We all remember.
Okay.
We all remember. We're just giving you.
Okay. Well, he spends a little bit of time on the island with me. Manasa gets pregnant with half dragon, half gold dragon baby.
What about your husband?
Nice.
Oh, he's fine with it, because we're not actually married, and, Brassius isn't gonna stick around, so I actually raised the baby with him, with my pirate hubby. Or my boo. We don't actually ever get married. But we do spend a lot of time on the island raising, who becomes my daughter. I have a baby girl. And she looks pretty elven, except she's like gold. Because she's half gold dragon.
Like a high elf.
Oh.
Yeah. And so yeah, I was thinking for my coin, maybe a picture of like a baby breathing fire.
Yeah. Can do that.
Baby breathing fire.
But yeah, and maybe it can be like a gold coin or like even the brass that kind of looks gold.
Yeah. Yeah, the brass coins are really pretty. I mean, all of them look really good, but
Yeah, so she settles down a little bit. She's not quite as much of a partier, but she still likes to have like her moments. So sometimes she'll leave. We had a name for her. I forget what we picked for my daughter's name.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'll tell you her name when I remember it. But so sometimes I'll leave her with the pirates on the island, and I'll go and hang out on the Druid's Groove for a little bit, just to, because Manasa's Manasa.
Manasa's gonna Manas.
Yes, for sure. But she leaves most of her Manasing for the Druid's Groove without her daughter.
Yeah, to Manas turns into kind of a slang term around the Sword Coast. It usually means it can be one of a bunch of different things, but they're usually all pretty lewd.
You
It's
menacing
one of those-
around.
It's one of those contextual things. It
Right.
changes
Whenever
depending on what
about to
you're.
get into
Yeah,
some sort of trouble.
it's like
I mean-
Squanch.
Manasa's actually the perfect character to be a whore, just because she's a druid, so she's immune to poison. Like,
And disease.
in disease.
Now, if only you
So-
multi-class at least one level into Bard, then whoa, you out there.
But anyway, she
Sorceress could not
has
handle.
fun.
We have fun here.
Nice. I like it.
Let's see. And so what does Liston do in his semi-retirement?
I've just become the most formidable wizard he can. I mean, he's
Yeah,
still got
what's-
plans for
What's all the upgrades you do to your
Yeah.
ship?
the ship, complete with like a viewing port out the front, like I don't know if I ever described it to you guys, but the front of the ship eventually becomes like glass, like some thick magical glass on the front of the ship.
Oh,
In below deck, so it's like kind of a viewing room where it's like a war room kind of, and in the middle of the war room is the map that we never got to use, but I plan on completing it in retirement. Is basically the map is a programmed illusion that whenever we would go to any plane, it would show as much as the plane in its entirety as we have like either mapped or if there are like written documents, I can add that to the programmed illusion and be able to navigate using this giant like almost like globe that floats in front of you of the plane that you're on. And that was pretty much what I had planned for the bitch's gift, was just the war room, because I thought that would be real cool. At the end, I was also, I don't know if I told you this, Ronnie, but I wanted to turn the Stratavangold into kind of near the top, also have what I would call the Nexus, which would be, Liston would be delving into portal magic and seeing if he could create 2 portals, one to the in-between worlds of the outer planes and the elemental planes, and then kind of like diverging doorways that lead to other doors, which will eventually get you to other planes if you're trying to get there. And I wanted all that to be located within the Stratavangold.
Wow. Dope.
Probably working maybe a little bit towards lichdom and prolonging his life. But I think high elves have a longer lifespan, so that was like delayed even further. Like that might have moved down his list of stuff to do. even
Yeah, you have
further.
like 1,000 years now.
Yeah, I went from like 150 to 1,000. So
Major calamities happen every like 50 years
yeah.
in this world too.
oh man, that's gonna suck.
And yeah, I mean, just doing wizard stuff, like working on new projects to optimize his ability to react to world events and stuff like that.
Are you gonna become like some mastermind just hiding in your like mountain lair,
There was
just
place
waiting for
that.
bad things to happen so you can swoop in to just like shut it down?
I had also talked very briefly about Liston was an orphan and also adopting, kind of going to an orphanage and maybe adopting a child that maybe piques my eye on like the Arcana scale, or somebody who might be naturally gifted with Arcana, and taking
Yeah, just
on-
like volunteer at an orphanage for a while until
Yeah.
you find the one that.
I'm looking for a child.
taking
I'm here for a child. Give me your smartest child.
taking on a magical apprentice, and also getting children out of the orphanage system. So.
Have any of your orphans ever disintegrated anyone before? Give me that one.
What do you do when one day you come back to your workshop and Indris is sitting in your chair?
Oh.
You knew this day would come.
Probably strike a conversation. Wait, did she get there? Wait, are we talking about the Gonogrim or the Golden Owl or Bazaar office?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way she's getting into the Strata Vonghold without blowing up with all the glitch.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah. She.
strike a
you know,
conversation.
Yeah, and she basically, she starts off her kind of normal snide self and kind of sarcastic and playful, but basically kind of like humbles herself and requests to, be back on the payroll essentially.
I'd probably accept, but seeing as she was a wanted criminal at the time, I mean, I am the mayor, but it would be a little interesting if I pardoned her and people would be like, wait, wasn't she the reason you got into power and stuff like that? So I would probably ask her to disguise. I think I have some disguise changing.
She's
items.
good at that.
Yeah. Overthrow all the council members who disagree with me, and replace them with, people that I see fit.
Oh, wow. Just some casual tyranny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, speaking of Breeza, or I'm sorry, Indris and her sisters, Breeza, who you left in charge of Lycosidia, and her sister, Axilla, that you killed in your first mission. One of them gave you guys a key, and I don't see it. Well, I think I looked for it a little while ago, and I didn't see it in any of
It's
your.
the very first entry at the Strava Bag of Sending.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Not that I would have ever known what this key was.
Yeah. Yeah, key that Indris gave you in the Underdark. Okay, cool, it's there. But I wanted to say that key was it was a magic key. If you ever put it in like a closed door's keyhole and you turned it, then when you open that door, it would be a doorway into an extra dimensional inn called the Nowhere Inn, and it was run by a what was he? I don't know. I think it was some kind of it's like an Ifriti or something like that.
How many uses does it have? Like one a day, or?
It was
Free housing?
so it was meant to be. So essentially, when you enter to stay there, you could stay and do a long rest there, but you had to pay in blood. and then like not that much blood, but it would magically sap you of your strength, and you would be exhausted the next day. You'd have 1 level of exhaustion. You wouldn't gain any exhaustion back.
Would that be everybody, or could one person like sacrifice the level of exhaustion?
It would have to be everybody.
Okay.
That wouldn't have
But,
mattered for me.
Yeah, it was meant to be like an emergency, like long rest, like type situation, but never came up. I thought that was funny.
There's probably sometimes you could have used it too.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Give me Indris's character sheet. What was she? What level? We talked
Alright.
about. You were
Alright.
like, "What do
Yeah,
you
no,
think
that's-
she is?" And I was like, "This is what I think." I think I said she was an 11 rogue. At the
I
time
th-
you asked me,
Okay, and what did I say?
you didn't answer.
Because
You're
I
like,
think
"Interesting."
I think you said 16.
Did I?
Because I think I was thinking like whatever you said was 1 level higher than I was planning, so I just bumped her up to that level.
No, I buffed her.
But yeah, I guess let me check it out.
Because I was just like, if I have to fight my fling, you know, do I make it out alive?
I have it somewhere. I'm gonna look for that.
Liston and Indris is the longest will they, won't they
Mhm.
relationship of all time.
Yeah, Manasa is not really a will they won't they. She's just a she did.
It feels like
When they, where
I
they.
vote most likely to you to get stabbed in. Honestly,
So, meat. What's meat's time look like?
Well, I put thought into it, and like he already kind of established enough to stabilize the region so that it can't really just fall back into like tribal warfare, like chaos that it kind of was before. But because of his time out and around the you know, the world and going to all these different places and stuff that like typically the rest of the lizard folk from there haven't done, he kind of comes off as a little different, like kind of odd compared to their local sensibilities. So he wasn't really pursuing like siring an heir, and more so trying to come up with a different way of like passing on a title. So he'd actually work together with each of the tribes to come up with what was the word I come up with? Like succession games. So it'd be trials that valid successors, basically somebody that would be from like one of the lizard folk from those tribes, any of them can enter into it, and it's not just a challenge of strength or will or intelligence and things like that. It's basically a combination of everything to test everyone to the highest degree, so only the one that comes out on top would be the strongest in as many regards as possible.
That's
So
interesting. That's funny.
Yeah.
They're my character. I don't know if I ever told you this, but my character that I made for the one shot, the lizard folk one shot,
Mm-hmm.
hated meat and wanted him dead, and was planning on becoming the new chieftain and challenging meat to a duel. Because I was making this character with the full intention of fighting meat This was the son of who was
Oh,
the
the
old
the usurper or whatever.
Yeah, who was the old chieftain? It was
Ah, fuck, I forgot that
the
dude's
one
name.
the one that I think it was a lady, right? That we showed up when
I
we
have it
first
in the
showed up to
notes.
the
Oh,
bar.
Achuak?
Achuak. So this was
Oh, Achuak. Okay.
the son of Achuak, and wielded their houses double axes, and each had like magical qualities, and wanted to eventually be like, he was going to become the rightful chieftain by succession. And then when Meat came back, Meat took that from him and was like, this guy doesn't even know our culture. He's been gone for this many years. I'm gonna challenge him when I'm strong enough and take back the stuff. So that's funny. He would definitely participate in these games, and eventually.
It's actually cool that you said that, because that character would very well play into something that I had talked with Ron about, which would be kind of like a civil unrest / like a cold civil war going on in the tribes between. Think about like Skyrim, how there was those that were like, oh, go to the old ways and no outsiders and stuff. So essentially, what it would be is like there were lizard folk that kind of wanted to shun all of this outside trade and the like outside cultures from having influence over the marsh, and wanted to stick to like their old ways, like what they considered power and all this, versus the other side, which were open to outside cultures and spreading their culture, and actually, in their eyes, becoming stronger by absorbing strengths from other like cultures around them and stuff. So it's kind of like this clash that would happen between the two, not something that would actually turn into a civil war, but more of like kind of arguments, at the inn or dinner table, whatever. And I thought that would be something that would play into it, because they would see Meat as like, oh, he's not strong, he's not a follower of the old ways, he's different, he's changed somehow, he doesn't seem like a strong figurehead of the lizard folk anymore. And then he would be somewhat outcast in his own society again, because he's just seen as kind of this odd leader. He has the insight of all of the other shit going on in the world, so he can kind of use that to give a different perspective on like leading his people, which is a little different than how they usually do it. They're usually like, all right, time to settle this magic challenge the way we do it, with fists. And so that would kind of play into the whole thing of him bringing about a reason to have these trials. And so it's like kind of a thing that would happen outside of the scope of the Strahd, because it really isn't the Strahd involved, it's just in the marsh and like kind of involving Meat a little bit. So it'd make a lot of sense if your character was kind of like one of those dissidents, just kind of like running around and kind of in a bar, just like, yeah, fuck that guy, yeah, and then like riling up everybody. Oh yeah, and trying to another thing he'd be trying to do is spending a lot of time trying to like find a like a suitable partner for Call, because Call doesn't play nice with other dragons typically, and sees any nearby as like a territorial threat. But he also doesn't want that lineage to just die with Call, and the idea of having like Call having a progeny, actually being able to raise dragons there and have more than just him as like a dragon rider in the marsh, maybe as like a elite unit or something like that to protect the marsh, is something he'd be trying to strive for. But I don't know how successful that actually will end up being. That one's just kind of like his end goal whenever he's just roaming around, because he realizes he's not just been changed mentally, but seems to have outlived what his average lifespan is expected to be, potentially something happened in the Feywild that kind of fucked with his longevity. So now he's way older than most lizard folk should be, but he doesn't really look ancient. He seems like himself, but is outliving what he should. So he's now having to find other goals and find other things he has to do, so he doesn't just kind of get bored in the marsh and still seen as weird.
Love it.
Every
He's the
time-
crazy old cat lady, except he's the crazy old dragon guy.
Yeah. Although the cat lady doesn't really have to worry about the things they're raising, like eating them while they're alive.
No, while they're alive.
Yeah.
I'm glad you specified while they're alive.
I had to specify that.
Yeah, because cats will certainly eat dead owner.
Mhm. Yeah. But his kind of now seemingly or relatively eccentric nature plays into the whole negotiations with like other dragons and stuff, allowing him to talk to them for some reason instead of them just like, who the fuck is this guy? You know, on site when he walks up, they're just like, all right, I'm curious, I'll bite. What's your
Listen,
deal?
Definitely would be there if Meat would let him. Being was like the
Oh, yeah.
first, pretty much the first thing Liston became knowledgeable about, or he ever studied. That was back when he was a bard. So studying the dragons would be like right up his alley.
Yeah, and I mean, Meat wouldn't turn anybody away in the Stradaval because like they're his found family. Like the only family he had was murdered and he was framed for it a long time ago, so he was always on the move until he met like you guys. So he's just like, all right, this is family now. You're
Yeah,
all welcome.
Manasa would definitely go visit you guys often. Invite you out to the island for, beach days.
Would anybody like Liston's flying carriage? Because having a ship
It's just-
in-
Is it gathering dust in like a shed?
it's somewhere northwest. It was somewhere northwest when we were traveling down to the marsh.
Oh, is that
for
the one we
first
took from
time.
hell?
No. This was
Oh.
this was before the Marsha Chalimber arc. We were traveling down there and we took the carriage before with like horses and stuff before it became flying, like a flying carriage, but
Oh,
tried
I
to
didn't
recover
know that
it,
one
it
was
wasn't-
flying.
We like hit it. No, it wasn't flying yet, but he would have finished that and probably given it to one of you, probably somebody, maybe our girl, to take care of the horses and.
So what you're telling me is
Yeah.
we had that like whole like little arc there where it was used, and then you're like, I'm gonna finish enchanting this thing later,
Yeah.
and then like
we,
flash forward to
hit
like weeks
somewhere
later.
near the Southwood, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then.
So you just like finalize these runes on it, right? Like it glows and levitates like a foot off the ground. You're like, it's finished, and you're like, anyway, and you like throw a tarp over it and walk out and close the door and don't look at it again. Is that what you did?
Well, yes and no. It was like, because at the time, I was planning, I didn't realize like how long the study would take for this like levitation. So what ended up happening was like, by the time I figured it out, we had gotten the bitch's gift. So it was like, well, why do I need the carriage anymore? We don't need a flying carriage. I could have a ship.
You moved on to a bigger flying vehicle and got bored with your original flying
It
vehicle.
was like in an RPG when you get a nice sword, well, you spend all your gold to get the sword, and then in the next dungeon you get something that's
Yeah,
slightly
you get a
better.
quest item that's way better.
You're like, right, why did I spend all this gold?
Fuck, if only I knew I was gonna grab this.
But probably give it to our girl since it's got, like horses. Well, originally it was supposed to have like a horse-drawn or a Pegasus-drawn.
How big is it?
carriage. I mean, it's just a carrot, like a stagecoach.
I got unicorns.
I'm just wondering, are we gonna finish the amusement park in the mountain?
Oh, our rainforest cafe. And
Oh, well, there'd be a cafe in it. That's one of the. There are
Yeah.
many rooms in that.
so many
I mean,
rooms.
there's gonna be all kinds of like
There's the airborne slip and slide kind of thing.
Equipped
you know,
with real gorillas and chimpanzees.
to add some spicy danger to the whole mix.
Just a little
You
bit
never
of
know if you might
excitement.
die.
I've got wizards
Figured
or
the-
druids
The airborne
polymorphing
carriage
into
could be
great apes.
one of the things either to get you to the amusement park or to like you get helicopter rides around like like you can get an airborne carriage ride.
It's gonna be the train that just goes in a circuit around the park, like around the mountain, and everybody's like on there, just like, oh wow, yeah, it's a mountain.
I'm with it. I like this.
That's awesome. Ugh. Oh, you're muted.
I was just talking to Liz about Jello shots.
Oh, doing Jello shots on the magical flying carriage, nice.
On the subject of meat, I don't think meat ever learned some of the stuff that Liston was doing.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Fucking around in the.
Liston, what have you been
marsh.
up to?
So, after I'm trying to remember the order of things, but there was a spy, I believe, that was working for the Hags in manipulating Ravna Laxalith, and the
Oh,
spy
right.
was in Agama and ended up getting captured. We learned who it was. We captured him. That was when I was like casting all these spells to get this person to, reveal who they were, and we had to like stop everyone. I cast like Bane, and I don't remember the exact interaction, but we captured someone, and he was thrown in an Agaman prison, and I guess this leads to something else. Do you guys know how Liston was aging rapidly for a while?
Yeah.
Was that because your backup body didn't have the rapid growth thing turned off?
No, so after the first
Oh.
time Liston died.
Oh, yeah, when you
so-
walked
Yeah,
in
we
with
were
the
blown
fun explodey box and
Yeah.
we couldn't find any
so
trace of
he
you.
had cloned himself, but Ageja with the weave had added a malfunction to the clone spell that would
Oh.
make Liston's new body age extremely rapidly. So to fix it, Liston basically had to lose some morality, and in the process, with Agesha's help, before he knew it, learn how to manipulate souls and other people as spell components, and basically whenever he killed somebody with this spell that he learned, would absorb their life to prevent him from aging. So, Liston
Wow.
had killed, by the end of the Stradivar, where we are now, hundreds of people.
Oh, fuck.
It's a vampire.
it
Wait, you were
started-
going vampire?
Yeah, pretty much. So it started off with Liston taking out criminals. This is like very Death Note-esque, where I start off
Oh, no.
killing the people who were like, oh, the society would be better without this. But at some point, Liston went to
Are we talking Dexter here? Yeah.
Yeah, well, Liston went into Silver Moon. I'll circle around back to Agama in a second, but Liston had gone to a mage spell fighting duel, or like tournament, in Silver Moon. His pride was hurt, and he ended up hunting down this like drunken.
Yeah, there was a bit of a ringer in the spell in the wizard tournament. They're actually a sorcerer, and they were able to do all kinds of stuff that wizards usually can't do, and ended up winning.
Oh.
Yeah, hurt Liston's pride. He was disguised at the time, so nobody knew it was like actually Liston.
Netsil.
Yeah. Found where they would drunkenly pass out in an inn one night, and then killed them in their sleep using this spell. And just because his pride was hurt, ended up doing that to a lot of people, including the prisoner that you guys captured that Meat. It wasn't Liston's prisoner, and it was Liston recognizes that Meat would probably have been pretty pissed, so that's why he never told Meat. But ended up like trying to get as much. Liston was like very prideful, thought that he could get all the information out of this person before he killed him. Like, thought he was superior to whoever was going to interrogate the prisoner from in the marsh. So Liston was like, I'll just do it myself, I'll probably get better results, and then ended up killing them and absorbing their life too. And then I remember Ronnie had been like, somebody snuck in and killed your prisoner, and we never went into that, and I was like, well, Liston got away scot-free.
Well, shit.
Yeah, because you guys were like, well, can we speak with dead? And like, Liston had also like, what did you do? You like, I don't know if you tore out their tongue, or you
Yeah.
just tore off the bottom jaw or something like
Yeah,
that.
we mangled some body parts. I don't know.
Oh, you put a wild animal in there too.
That's right. And it ate.
Oh,
And it yeah.
oh, you're talking about Kneebreed, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I have that in my notes. Dead. A bullywug got loose from another cell and was found eating the body.
Yeah, that was me.
I was taking notes.
That was me.
I was reading through them and like I was like, huh. I remember this happened, but I don't remember the context. And now you have fucking the context.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there was a few different cages, and you were like, took
Yeah,
this
we-
bullywug out of the
We were
one
getting in
and
to
put
break
it
them
in the other
out
one.
during the it was like an insurgency or something like that. We were going up against the fuck, what were they called? The Yuan-Ti.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were breaking them out of cells because of the whole Yuan-Ti thing and blah blah blah. But then we go in there and one's just being like eaten by a fucking bullywug.
Some
Like, huh.
Liston has also used a spell and killed people for political gain. So, one of the bodies he used a intellect devourer to so made it so that even if they were resuscitated, they were actually like possessed by I can't remember how it worked.
Even if they were resuscitated, they were still a jelly brain.
Yeah,
Yep.
but
So,
that was
do you
a council member before Liston got elected mayor. And most of the people he killed, this is probably the worst part, were slaves from the Underdark. That
Oh.
like
Oh,
the
fuck.
The Underdark still had slaves, and Liston's like, well, gotta eat or I'm gonna die. So that was probably the most.
Slavery's bad.
With the relic or with the thing now, do you still need to eat to kill people?
No, because after he died and cloned himself the second time, Agesha didn't know
Didn't have
about
that.
it, and he had done it in secret, and there was no malfunction the second time. But, and I say but, Liston, like, getting a taste for immortality was like, I still kind of want to keep doing this, so I stop aging, even though it's not as pertinent as it used to be, which was kind of like a big point for Liston to ultimately, instead of using the spell for survival, now using it for pretty evil purposes.
It was an
after
ends
that.
justify the means, and then you're like, ah, what the hell?
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, well, so I'm not aging as fast. I'm still aging, and ended up that. This is why Liston came out as evil whenever there was stuff that was going on in Plains, or we were meeting deities that knew. They were like, what did the sea bitch say to?
Ooh, I don't remember.
You remember? She like called out, and she was like interested in Liston or something after.
Wasn't it like a you of all people kind of speech or something?
I don't remember, but yeah.
I remember she was like pointing fingers at everybody, and then she was just like, and then you.
So-
We were all looking at each other like, what? What about him?
So you all know now the reason why Liston's alignment was a little skewed.
Oh
Well, that's
my
what
god, were you the baddie the whole time?
partially?
I was writing stuff, maybe, thinking about what would happen if I fought the Stradivarius.
Not gonna lie, I thought
The-
the end boss would be listed.
Well, that celestial pegged you too in Yensen's dungeon, right?
I think so, yeah.
Because I would,
Oh,
my
yeah.
alignment was technically evil at that same time. Because I had been spending a year in the abyss, so that
Yeah, you got that
changes.
hell stink on you.
Yeah, I was like cursed in a way.
Yeah, speaking of Umberly, you got a dagger from her too. Liston.
Oh, I did. I couldn't remember that. What was
She said that if you plunged it into your heart, you would
That's
become
right.
undead.
Yeah.
But would he still have his like consciousness, or would he just become an undead?
So the way the dagger worked was that absolutely would happen. You would basically, if you, as long as you weren't dead, you plunged the dagger into the heart of a person who wasn't dead, they would go back up to full health, and they would be an undead at that point for 1 minute, and then Umberly's, agents of, would essentially drag you down to the bottom of the ocean to serve her from then on.
Fuck!
Good thing I didn't do that. That's
I guess
funny.
that's a
That's funny.
like,
too.
hey, it's this or nothing.
And I'm not sure if you did this on purpose, Ronnie, but you gave me like multiple outs to lichdom and like becoming undead and stuff like that. But I don't know if you knew that Liston wouldn't have like the easy answer just felt wrong, and it felt like it was given to him by someone else. And Liston is definitely not about just taking it or taking the answers from someone else. That was like the whole thing with Agejo, was that he wanted to learn his own way on his own, like not on the shoulders of giants but himself, I was like, he was super prideful. And
Yeah, no, I just kind of put things in your path, and you did what you did.
Should have destroyed that box.
the box.
Which box?
Talking to Agejo with the box.
Oh,
What the hell ever happened to that one Dragonborn? The scary white one?
Jogira?
Oh yeah.
He's
Yeah.
he's out there.
Is he with?
He
Well, I guess that.
Is that something that's still on the shelf for like
I think that is still on the shelf.
well, he's
a
an
one-shot?
assassin.
Yeah.
So he's doing assassin work, but the
But- Is he the kind of assassin that holds grudges for a long time? Is the question.
no, he was very like, as intense and angry as he looked all the time. He was actually like pretty much emotionally dead. Like,
He's very
he
like
had
zen.
no fear, yeah, he was just like a machine that like killed things for money.
God,
he
he was
was
so
an
cool.
he was an Eldritch Knight. So he was another one of those builds that I never got to do for myself. And he was, I think, I'm trying to remember, he was either possessed or formerly possessed, and it like messed with his head. It kind of broke his brain a little bit. But he, which is why he is the way he is, and like never blinks and stuff.
What a cool character.
But he's an Eldritch Knight, right? So he wears full plate mail, but it's mithril plate mail, so he doesn't have disadvantage on stealth. He can alter his own appearance as an Eldritch Knight. He can summon his weapon from anywhere on the plane. So his MO is kind of to leave his greatsword somewhere, and then sneak into where his target is, or blend in with the crowd or whatever, and then just summon his blade as a bonus action, and then like Great Weapon Master, like action surge his target to death.
Oh,
Dude sounds like a Dragonborn Agent 47
Yeah,
from like fucking Hitman.
That's so cool.
yeah, because
Oh,
like most, like almost no, just like noble out there, it'd have to be like an adventurer of some kind, or something, or some powerful being or whatever that could withstand like an assault like that. But yeah, and he could Misty Step, so on the way out, he's just Misty stepping out windows and stuff.
Like leaving no traces of how the fuck he got out of there.
He had control. Well, I love control flames as like an assassin type character because you're just like snuffing out lights as you go. You know, like from 60 feet away, you could just like turn off lamps and lanterns.
Like the opening scene from Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Clicking the
Just like that.
lighter.
There is something very menacing and terrifying about like a dude walking towards you slowly down a long hallway, and as he's getting closer, all the lights that are near him just keep going out. It's just like, oh fuck, what are you?
That's cool.
so yeah, he was just one of those characters. I was like, that would be a badass character. I should put him in the story somewhere.
Yeah, having played a fighter, I do really like the fighter class, and Eldritch Knight is very much on my radar for like if I build another fighter.
It's very cool. I would allow something that usually when I do builds like these, like I pretty much stick to the rules, but I would allow an Eldritch Knight or an Arcane Trickster for that matter to pick 2 schools of magic instead of being stuck with the default 2, because I think it's kind of bogus that Eldritch Knight is stuck with Evocation and Abjuration. Abjuration's great for an Eldritch Knight. Evocation seems kind of blah to me.
Is Evocation the one that's just like fire bolt?
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff like that?
it's damage spells mostly.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, like, if I were to do it, if I were to pick 2, it'd be Abjuration Transmutation. You know, like, enhance yourself with magic. You know, I think that would be cooler, you know, for somebody who's mostly physical. Because you're still, like, you know, 80% a fighter.
Yeah.
You know,
That's cool.
yeah.
Would Geralt be a Eldritch Knight?
You know, a lot of people kind of play around with... The Witchers are, like, so multifaceted with... They have a little bit of magic. They're, you know, they're good at combat. They're also, like, very good at tracking. They're good with alchemy. You know, there's, like, a bunch of things they're, like, good at. So it'd be hard to have a class that's...
Right, because they're a little
that
like
would fit them all the
Eldritch
way.
Knight. They're a little ranger. They're a little
Yeah,
like
They're a
everything.
monster.
A lot of finesse movements too.
right.
Yeah, so like rogue stuff.
Carrying.
Yeah, and like based on, you know, like with Eldritch or Witcher 3, you know, there's all the different schools and stuff, and some of them do wear light armor and some do wear heavy armor, so that you could even, you know, be varied there.
Huh.
But yeah, like the Matt Mercer's Blood Hunter class, I think was designed to be like a Witcher, like essentially. But I was actually watching a video on this just the other day, but like only one of the subclasses like really do like the Witcher thing. But yeah, I made a Witcher in Pathfinder 2nd edition, which I found to be a little bit easier because of the way multiclassing works. So I was like, I don't know, I think I started maybe Ranger and just added in like Alchemist and like a couple other things, and turned out pretty witchery.
Yeah.
But yeah, Yogira is cool. I like
He's
the whole
still
blood
out there
claws.
murderizing people.
Just the blood claws in general is fun. You know, group of or Dragonborn.
Yeah. I just remember the whole
that
time we were
gang?
fighting him, just like every time he would do something, me to just be like, "Ah, fuck, it's so cool!" Just like get stabbed by, be like, "Oh god, how is he so cool?"
Yeah, his sword is a I forget what it's called, but it essentially the damage it does can't be healed too. That's like another
Oh.
thing.
Is it like one of the fucking the red mage's blade or whatever?
I forget. It's a rare sword, but I forget what it's called.
Like an anathema.
Interestingly enough, one of Embriel's swords, Embriel being the ranger in the Celestial Torchlight, he's a vampire hunter, and one of his swords is actually a sharpened wooden stake that was enchanted with this enchantment that keeps things from healing.
Was he the
So
one that went with us to White Plume when Jogir showed up?
he was,
Okay.
yeah, he was the one that went with you.
I couldn't remember. He was very quiet, I think, from what I remember.
Yeah,
Embryo.
he's actually very paranoid.
Ah,
He's the type that like will only like sleep in a corner of a room, and
Like a back against a wall kind of thing.
yeah, like sitting up with his armor on, or it would be trancing, but yeah, because he's a wood elf. Actually, he was another one of my builds. I was like, if I were to make a vampire hunter, how would I make him? And that was him. I picked like wood elf. Like, there's a bunch of things about him. He's like really good at getting out of grapples. He's got like a badass wisdom save, so like charms and stuff like that, like don't, are less likely to work on him. But yeah. So, Galavar, what do you do?
Yeah, I think Galavar would be pretty simple for the most part and try to take over. Well, not try to take over, but accept the position at MIP. Hopefully, to make things a little bit more streamlined in the process of actually gathering information and enacting things.
Yeah, so about that,
Yeah.
so you go to the Adamantine Citadel for the MIP, and they open up for you. And you walk in. I think somebody just ate it upstairs. Felt like it. It was but Therixa, she stops you and she says, well, have you come to take your position with the MIP and replace me?
Yeah, I have.
Very well then. Follow me. And
Alright.
she like leads you through the compound, and she leads you into like some back areas that you hadn't got to last time, kind of deep in the compound, and you've got all this like architecture just kind of like floating and bobbing in place, and all these like impossibly, kind of seemingly impossibly, because it's like like planters with plants like made out of adamantium or adamantine. And she leads you back to this very like kind of like the Emperor in Star Wars kind of like throne type situation is going
Jesus.
on. And there's another Githzerai just kind of like meditating, floating there. A bunch of stuff like floating around him. Oh, and this is the guy that led the strike team with Therixa to the Abyss to take out.
Oh, and
Your
he like
mom.
teleported right. Was he like the only survivor? Or if he killed
Um,
everybody else.
well, they were all astral projecting, so technically none of them died.
Oh, okay.
Basically, you would have to cut their silver cord to kill them at that point. And that's only if they're on the astral plane. So even in the Abyss, like, there's no way to really kill them.
Mhm.
Like, they would just go back to their bodies.
Oh, good.
But she leads you in, and he stands up and he says, "What is the meaning of this?" And she says, "I am recruiting Galavar Gillian to be my second in command." And he goes, "Unacceptable." She says, "It is already done." He says, "You will regret this." And she says, "I doubt it. I resign." And he says, "How dare you? I will not stand for having this Gaketh as
Well-
lead Zerth under my command."
Went with the "you're not gonna fire me, I quit."
And she says, "Then sit here for all I care. Galavar will be a much needed addition to the Citadel." He says, "Well, then I too am resigning. The only thing that could collapse this adamantine citadel is your dense brain. Know that it is you that is doomed to this plane." And then he plane shifts out. And Therixa looks at you and she says, "Very well, it is done. I will return to Limbo and find you an Anarch willing to administrate this facility. I will return soon to help ease your transition, if you like."
Yes, please.
She said, "I need to go to Baldur's Gate. Hopefully there's no Nautiloid ship that captures me there." And
Yeah, she
Uh-oh.
says, "The Citadel is complex. There is much to know." And then she, you basically learn that the Citadel itself, it's made of adamantine, but it's really only there by sheer, force of thought. It's like psychically, after only a week, it will literally melt back into the sand that it was transmuted from here in the desert, and just fall apart. So you got to have somebody who is trained to keep it from falling apart. But they set somebody up willing to do that. In the meantime, she kind of pulls out all the books, shows you their lists of allies and contacts, keys you into what the people there can do. Most of them are some kind of martial type, either like a swordsman or a martial artist. And with a psychic, a psionic bent to it. But also, if you have enough of them, they can spend. It takes a little while, but they can astral project yourself and all of them, to a different plane. Which is how they get around, especially infiltration. There's less risk when you just can't die.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then she introduced you to a bunch of people. There's I forget their names. I think I might have mentioned that they walked by, but there's an off-plane order of ascetics who basically worship radiant. They believe there's a god that is the source of all radiant energy in the world. And they call it the
Oh.
Radiance.
I thought you were about to say they were one of those weirdos that worship radiation for a second.
I mean, kind of. But they basically they're basically Jedi. I made a Jedi subclass for I think sorcerer. I think they're sorcerers with this Jedi subclass. They're called the Radiant Blades.
Oh yeah, I think you posted that before.
Yeah, I think I had a man with a beard and a small goblin walk by at one point.
that's awesome.
It's I was imagining Obi-Wan and Yoda walking by.
Oh, nice.
But
I didn't notice.
they know there's some of them around every once in a while. But yeah, so the MIP is yours to do with as you please. As Therixa kind of finishes showing everything, she also offers that during the transition she was really busy with you and everything. She says, it's totally up to you basically, but she actually is capable of keeping the Citadel together too if you want her to stick around instead of the other guy. That you would still be at the top of the chain of command and she'd be there just to advise and keep the Citadel in one piece.
Not my favorite person, but I do trust her, so I would probably take her up on that.
All right, so she sticks around and she does exactly that, and she lets you run the place. And also, she's pretty instrumental in putting down any kind of dissent.
Yeah.
Before you guys carry out some missions and prove that you've got something good going on.
Nice. I do have a question as time goes
Yeah.
on. What happens to Crepuscula?
She
I know she rose in power a little bit, but
yeah, she basically becomes Zariel's second in command. She's like the head of the war down there. But yeah, she's it's hard to call it a comfortable life, but it's not even a safe position. She's got a lot of power to her. There's a lot of people that want her dead, but she's also got a lot of resources, and it takes a lot to remove somebody from that kind of position.
what? All right.
Yeah, and she continues to aid you. If anything seems easier, she's able to come whenever you call her, because she's able to basically be in more than one place at a time. But yeah. And the blood war rages on. What else do you do?
I feel like that would take a lot. I don't know if there's very much else he would do.
Like personal life, like I'm gonna have a baby, and Liston said he might adopt a kid. Would you do anything
So-
like that?
Do you want to raise
You-
a kid with me, Galavar?
You've been to the library a bunch of times in Silvery Moon.
Mhm.
I forget exactly what it's called. And there is there was just this, this pretty drow gal that worked there that I think we talked about a couple times.
I think so
But,
too.
She ends up working up the courage while you're coming through at some point to ask you out.
Ah, nice. Sure.
So yeah.
Ooh,
You know,
nice, 'cause
that's
that's
up
someone
to
who would have
you.
known my father too as well already.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and he's all about it. He thinks she's great. She's one of those rare drow that kind of came up, before the Gauntlgrim, the Golden Hour Bazaar and all that kind of improved drows. Whatever. There's only a couple drow like around the Sword Coast, and she kind of just sticks to the library, by herself, for the most part, and unless she's got somebody else to go out with. But things are getting a little bit better in that regard.
Also, I would imagine with Liston trying to piece together the perfect maps of each plane that Galavar would be with him on that ship, and trying to navigate around and kind of get a full understanding of the planes and stuff like that, and maybe make the Abyss and the Hells a little easier to navigate through than just like, oh, you're randomly here in this one now.
Yeah, Crepuscula actually secures like special privilege for Liston to open portals to Avernus, which is normally completely forbidden.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, would you pal around with Liston on his extraplanar voyages, Galavar?
I would.
I don't think I'd pal around on the ship, but if you sent me a sending or something, I might meet you there sometimes. Because I can also plane shift. So depending on whether it's one of the ones I can plane shift to, I might just show up for the day.
I imagine.
Well, you would probably get a free set of tuning forks from the MIP.
I would imagine
That's true.
that the last meeting with the knower of names wouldn't be our last meeting. That we'd probably maybe go down and try to get some true names again, or maybe even free from it was Mephistopheles, right? Who was
Yeah.
in possession of the knower names. Listen also would hang out with the crazy Onomancer every once in a while and try to get some knowledge from him. As
Yeah,
cryptic
you get
as it
some.
may
You
be.
get a. Every once in a while, he's lucid enough to give you some like decent information. But yeah, most of the time, he's just happy to have you around.
Lunch with the Onomancer.
Yeah. Oh, what was I gonna say? Something about. I think it was Galavar. Oh shoot. Oh well. I'll come back to it.
Well, you know what's funny? I was thinking about with Liston and his journey around killing people. There were times that I told Ryan this, but I put the imp in your bag without you knowing, just to travel to see what was going on, and then teleport him back to me. But nothing ever happened when you had my imp.
Imp
I
ain't no
just remembered
snitch.
that. Yeah.
Pretty good timing for me then, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know I was. Yeah. I remember that. What kind of secret things did you do during downtime, Galavar?
Secret things? The main
Yeah,
one I can
like-
remember is I went to the Abyss. That was kind of something that kind of got revealed.
Yeah, you're fighting in the Blood War.
Yeah, and I joined the Demon Army, or excuse me, Devil Army, and I rose through the ranks quite a bit and became part of a like A-team squad, which is where I met Crepuscula and her unit. Is there something else I did?
I think that was mostly it.
Yeah, that was the main thing. Like I
Oh,
wasn't just like regular frontline. What's up?
I just remembered something. The imp and the Lurkwood that meat kicked in the nuts, that you guys made pact with to get infernal soldiers to fight against the demons there. That imp got a big promotion for facilitating that deal because that was like crucial to like stopping a demonic invasion of the material plane. And he's been just kind of watching you guys ever since. And he's only revealed himself to Galavar to make the deal that got you to the Blood War that first time before you met, or which
Oh, he was
You
an
know.
imp?
yeah, he used to be.
Oh.
He got a huge upgrade. And yeah, he was no longer he no longer looked like an imp or was classified as an imp.
He also may be lacking balls now.
I remember him looking as kind of like a spicy
Voice.
character.
Although he's a
He
big
was.
guy, his voice is permanently high.
I used
Like he's got a squeaky voice, even though he's like now towering.
Alucard from Helsing as his look.
Yeah.
That's too badass for him.
He was super badass by the time he
Yeah, he
was
was
one
quite the
li- one
smooth talker
health.
with me.
He was one health away from dying from
Yep.
an unfortunately critical shot to the nuts.
That's how good. That's how good. That one act was.
He gave me a huge ass
Gained a
chest
lot
of
of power.
treasure.
God damn. Well, I guess
also-
I'm glad that I hear he recovered from that.
But yeah. Let's see. Argrol. I'm so sorry we didn't get to your thing yet. I
That's okay.
was very excited for you guys to go hunt down Ninagu at some point. That'll probably actually be the next thing the Stradiva does. Because I want to do that.
Right.
I do have like quite a bit of stuff like prepared for it too, because I'm, I work on like multiple things at the same time. But what goes on with Argrol at the end of the
Yeah. I mean, well, I think
semi-retirement?
that the idea of freeing the Gnolls definitely possesses him for sure. It becomes something that that he gets a little bit obsessed over, maybe. He'll still be taking care of his animal sanctuaries and establishing new places and maybe doing some or like setting up like sort of animal ambassador type situations where he'll sort of educates the public on their local wildlife and how to take care of the planet and all of that stuff. But also at the same time, I think that he starts to really focus on trying to work with Anzen to try to come up with the best way to go about it, and possibly even, I don't know if it's a possibility, maybe track down some smaller gnolls and try to see if they can sort of like replicate what what they did or what Anzen did with Argrol originally.
Yeah, the big problem is that what he did originally with Argrol was he used a wish spell, and that actually removed his ability to use wish from then on.
I see.
But it was a proof of concept that proved some things that he, led him to being able to build the I think it's called Entropy's Bane is what he ends up calling the device.
That's cool. I like how you said Argrol's got some animal ambassadors. When you're kind of like the ambassador of Gnolls at this, you would be the equivalent.
Right, yeah. I am the animal ambassador.
The missing link.
Animal ambassador.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. That's cool. Yeah, all kinds of like your areas just keep getting bigger and bigger. Do you like open up other reserves in different climates like around the world?
Yeah, definitely. And just sort of, I guess they could be, well, they're animal sanctuaries, but also a place almost like a zoo, but where you can go and like learn about the creatures and without really disturbing them.
Yeah, this order of druids keeps recruiting and stuff expanding along with you, and they essentially man these areas along with like animals that because they'll like awaken certain animals, and those animals themselves will also kind of run things. But yeah, you've got like place in kind of snowy area and a swampy area and like forests and
the
Yep,
island
it's all
can
over.
be your tropical area.
Yeah, that's true.
I can run one of your outposts on my island. Wouldn't hurt to have some animals there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
If you need a spot for birds or avian type things at the top of the mountain. Mount Hope now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There could be one in the marsh with the lizard folk.
Marsh Chillimber, yeah. Be all because it'd be all like localized, wildlife, so whatever sort of local to the region.
The animals don't last long in the marsh. They keep getting eaten. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't open up a reserve in the Marsh of Chillimber because there's a high likelihood they might start disappearing. Can't really control the local populace in that regard.
Yeah.
the dragon.
I got a question for
Yeah.
Olivar. Did you and Crepuscula ever, do the thing?
No, we went on a date.
Oh, okay. That's the furthest I got
Oh,
with it.
a date is what you kids call it these days.
Yeah.
hmm
What do you remember about that?
So, if I recall correctly, it was towards the end of my time in the Abyss, and she took me to this restaurant that was similar to the Material Plane, where there were special enchantments cast on it, so there wasn't like the regular slug of hell of like, oh, everything's constantly in discomfort. In the restaurant, it was like, dampened, so it was like kind of nice to be in there. Which actually I think is this around the same time that I asked her to be my patron. Is that the same time frame?
I think so, or yeah. I think she was kind of leading you to that, if I remember correctly.
Oh, is that what it was?
Are you multiple?
Because then, yeah, I am. I'm Warlock Ranger.
Oh, I don't think we ever knew that.
And like, I was kind of hiding it, but also kind of not like super hiding it. Because like when I summoned Crepuscula around the the tree or whatever, the only reason I could do all that was because A, she's my patron, but she also gave me the ability to Ronnie made a special spell for summoning her, which would have a 66.6% chance to fail.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
It's
which
a roll
also
of D1000.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been multi-class since level 16, I think.
Oh well.
Yeah. So just the end of it, which is how I also got the Imp Familiar and the ability to see through darkness. So there were traits there that I kind of just kept open. Oh, like the ability to see all the colors and stuff with Ronnie's special plant puzzle in the Fey Wilds.
Right. Yes, I was like, I'm proud of this puzzle. Infernal Rapture
yeah.
is the name of the restaurant that operates in Avernus.
Ah.
And it is owned by a Rakshasa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that all came out in the what the
Into the
Avernus
Abyss?
book. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was it was I forget.
Descent into Avernus?
There we go. Descent into Avernus. I actually bought that just to prepare for you guys to go to the hells.
Yeah, so yeah. So that is the most that ever happened because like I was like I wasn't sure if I wanted to or not, and gotta separate personal and business.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I also would have been trying to collect more Pokeballs of legendary
Oh, yeah.
monsters that I could keep.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. So, did anyone else have any secret downtime of activities that they never told
Argyle
anybody
does. I know for a fact Argyle has something.
You what?
I don't think
You're
we
not-
ever
you're not
learned
gonna
what
tell me
happened
about
to your
Argyle's-
hammer.
The
we?
secret crime spree?
Wait, what?
Did we learn what happened to the mace or the hammer that you had that you got from the
Whelm?
quest or the yeah.
So, Argyle had pledged to Whelm that he would find a dwarf that was worthy to wield him, and then
Oh my god, I forgot about
yeah, and so when every 4 years there's like tournaments everywhere, and people do a bunch of fighting and
Yeah.
stuff. Up in Mirabar, there was a big fighting tournament. Argyle went and joined it, and fought his way to the finals.
That's where I got my
Also-
bracers.
Yeah, that's right. So Meat also joined it, and they got to the final fight, and Argyle won. And then
More so, Meat backed out.
Yeah, he was kicking your butt anyway.
Oh yeah, he was kicking my butt, but I also like disarmed him,
Yeah,
and then I gave him back his weapon and like stepped out.
but it was all a good show. Everyone loved it. It was a good time. This was the same time period where Liston was doing his wizard tournament over in Silvery Moon.
Yeah.
But Argyle ended up giving up Whelm to like a
dwarf?
super famous, like legendary adventurer dwarf who was
Yeah.
retired, and then he gave you the bracers of returning. So that's where the hammer went.
Yeah, what
Because,
about all
like-
the murders?
Which murders?
Exactly, the ones that we haven't heard about from Argyle yet.
Well, there were a lot of backstreet shady deals with Meat. I know that, and Black Razor.
Yeah, I was just
We
wondering
don't talk
about that. Like Black Razor ate a lot of souls or whatever.
Yeah, funny thing. Not that many by Meat's hand, so Black Razor kept getting pissed off at him and trying to get him to go murder people. So it's like Meat was constantly fighting him back because every time we go into combat, Meat never had the ability to get the killing blow on an enemy that we were fighting to absorb the soul and satiate Black Razor. So in between sessions, Black Razor would constantly be trying to get him to go murder people because I could never land a killing blow during
Well,
fights.
There was quite a few. Like all the things that I summoned while you guys were fighting Black Razor were things that you landed the killing blow on, including Robin Alaxolith, and there was like an Ifriti and
man.
some other things.
It was just kind of like relatively rare when that would actually
Yeah,
happen.
it
'Cause
wasn't-
there was way more
yeah.
cases of him needing to fight like Black Razor taking over to murder someone
It-
than
it
him
was
actually
often.
killing people. It was super
it
often.
was
It was a
often.
curse.
Yeah. And you actually, there was several powers of Black Razors you didn't have access to as well, that he was withholding because of your.
Because I wasn't feeding him.
Right. So that like the rules say that like if you continue to like you were feeding him just enough that he wasn't like going completely all the way and taking over. And it until that one day in the council chambers in Agama where you tried to kill somebody and Manasa cast a hold person on you.
That was Achuak, I think.
Was it Achuak? Yeah.
I think it was Achuak.
That arc
And then
would've
Achuak put
gotten-
meat on his ass.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
have gone a lot different, that arc, if that had happened.
Mm-hmm.
Hold
And
person
then-
for the win.
Yeah, and then fucking Meat managed to go to Manasa and just be like, I need help. I have a problem.
And I did my best to just keep an eye on you and stop you from making any mistakes.
Yeah, because any murderous intent and shit was not coming from Meat. It was coming from the fucking sword. That sword was dangerous. It just made more dangerous by being in Meat's hands, basically. But then
Yeah.
it was also terrifying the idea of letting it go and having it wandering around out in the world. Which it did when some rich asshole decided to get involved and, predictably, he was murdered by it. So yeah, that went well.
So, do we know if he ever came back to life? Because we imagine that he had some kind of, being as rich as he was, insurance policy.
I thought because he was murdered by Black Razor, that changed things.
Yeah, up until the point where you destroyed Black Razor, and then his soul was released.
The question is, if they've already tried to revive him and they couldn't
Right.
have it happen, did they just fucking give up and then his soul was released and then he's like, all right, finally I can be revived. Wait, why is my body underground? What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know that anybody ever told them, and I don't know that they would know. I don't know.
Or maybe he was revived and now he's undead in a coffin. Like, hello, I'm still alive now. Can anyone let me up? And like banging sounds. Hello. Dude was a douche. I don't feel bad.
You guys have under your employ a gynosphinx.
We do.
You know what's really cool that they can do?
They have a
riddles?
cat body.
They can send you back and forward through time.
What?
What?
I feel like that's something that it should have told us.
And she never will tell you.
That's a little OP.
It is a little OP.
I think there's a reason why they don't just going around saying, "Hey, you know what I can do." She wanted to
Yeah.
be freed and everything. She didn't want us to be like, "All right, we're gonna make you like a slave time machine."
They don't yeah, exactly. Like they don't normally hang out in areas where people can ask them to do that often.
And I mean, she works for us, but like totally by choice, right? Like,
Yeah,
so
but
she
still,
can just say no. I mean, we
she
could
doesn't
ask.
know if like fucking she says that and suddenly listens like, "All right, well, anyway, I'm evil now, so you're not here willingly anymore."
Hmm.
She's like, look what I can do. Sends you to like moments before an apocalypse.
I can Explosion.
She sends you to the restaurant at the end of the universe.
Oh god!
Nice, nice.
Right before the last star goes supernova and consumes it.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was always just fun to know. Like you have somebody so powerful in your employ that can
And-
just send you all into the past.
And none of us asked if she had any special abilities. None of us were like, "Hey, so what all can you do?" We just asked
Yeah.
like why she was there.
Sphinx's lair actions, they can do all kinds of crazy shit. They can magically age you. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Like as a creature stat block by themselves, they're not too scary, but like all their lair actions are fucking crazy.
So she can make you perpetually slow by aging just your joints.
Oh no. I got a question for the DM.
All right.
Who was your Essek Thalis? Who was your favorite NPC this campaign?
I really like Anzen. Really,
Anson
it
is
was
so wholesome.
yeah. He's great. He's kind of a goofy old guy, like a little bit of a trickster kind of thing. I had this thing planned where if you guys if at some point you had ended up back at Anzen's house and he hadn't shown up in the battle or anything like that, which by the way I think was fucking awesome if I do say so myself, a fucking jacked like younger Anzen like showing up with like angel wings over the battle and fucking
Yeah, that was
raining
pretty
down
sick.
magic.
Yeah, that was
Very
That
awesome.
was pretty freaking awesome.
I was like, my dad is cool.
I just imagine him having like a sudden ripped physique of like Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist.
Exactly.
Is
Yeah.
That reminds me, one thing Manasa would do is she would visit her parents at least once a month. And
Oh,
she
yeah.
would bring the baby to meet them and stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like,
Oh, your dad works at Nintendo? Well, my dad.
but
My parents
Anson-
are in heaven.
I plan out all kinds of different ways that I can like reveal things or whatever. But I had this one situation where you actually go to his house and he has just died in his like recliner. and then
Oh.
like I give you just like a few moments, and then he walks out of the other room in like putting his bathrobe on and is like, "Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't see that." Kind of like,
Just like sobbing. Just like,
That would've been
no.
Like our girl ugly crying over his dead dad, and meanwhile his actual dad just walks out from the other room like, oh, sorry, I didn't know, I had guests, like putting on a towel.
it's like, he was just gonna like, his next clone or whatever.
What does he do with the old ones? Just like throw them out in the backyard in a hole?
It's like the end
Is
of
that
the
how his
Prestige.
garden's so
He did
lush?
this dungeon.
Yeah, there's a gelatinous cube in his dungeon. That's
Oh
like,
god.
that's how you
All
keep
the
things
bones you
clean.
saw in there was.
No!
Manson?
Oh
That's so
no!
fucked.
No, he's not that old.
That would be so fucked up.
That's hilarious though.
My God.
Oh, now I'm wondering if in the D&D universe there's a serial killer that just like has a fucking slime in their basement they just throw the bodies into,
That'd be
dispose of the
perfect.
evidence.
Perfect disposal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I would be able to find him.
I think his little mini dimension down there in his basement is actually the whole thing. I think is a mimic, if I remember correctly.
The whole thing?
Yeah, like the dungeon is a mimic, like
What?
and then
Makes
he
sense.
has stuff in it.
What the fuck?
So what you're saying is we just got lucky that it didn't awaken and eat all of us?
Yeah, because I think at one point you guys did something and the whole place shook.
We tried to take
remember that.
the magic rune out of the acid river.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
remember
there
there was a thing where like the hunter kept humming and you wouldn't explain why, it was humming.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
And so I just thought there was some kind of beast around or something like that. I just wrote it off as, okay, this place is weird, and didn't think anything else of it, except that you just told us it's alive.
Yeah, the whole thing's a mimic.
What happened to Wright?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Joined his people.
I know there were some things where I knew near the end he just wanted to kind of. Wright died probably of old age very, very soon after.
I don't know. You tell me. What did Wright do?
Well, I know that Wright. I think. How long do they live? Like 15 years on Eric?
It's
Eric
like
Surface?
30, I
30?
think.
So I think, yeah, he probably. I think it was like he had 15 more years in him or something like that. And knew of his mortality and was just like trying to live every day to helping people. Kind of had a shitty past and did some things he regretted. Basically the opposite of Liston, who just kind of started doing bad things and then kept doing bad things. Wright was like the antithesis of that, where he was like, oh, I need to be a good person with the little time that I have. Probably still did some, to make money, still did some cartography. Wait, was it the word? Cartography? Making maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, cartography.
Yeah. And did that for money, selling maps. Maybe Stradova came and, encounters with one of them one of the times. But maybe painted a little bit. Did some
That's great.
landscape painting and stuff like that.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe we have a Wright and a one shot at some point. Yeah. I just had a note. Anson loves spending all his time with our girl. And is he's like younger and more spry and more energetic and even more playful than normal.
Sweet.
Glenn and Nuala, visit quite a bit. So that's nice and happy. Our girl. So you had your secret kind of like at first you kind of kept secret that there were unicorns that moved in. But I think you had some like Pegasi and some like displacer beasts.
Yeah.
And I'm like wondering what other, pretty much anything that's like animal or animal adjacent.
Yeah.
Even mythical beasts would be happy to move into your
Pretty much, yeah. Just
areas.
give them a place to stay, especially if they're struggling due to environmental destruction or, whatever the case may be. Yeah. And then just educate the public and do little like panels or whatever and in cities and bring some animals with me and just talk about them and be like, this is why they are important to the environment. Don't kill them. I will find you.
And then you flex a little bit.
Yes. I will track you down.
So I had this whole ass monologue. Like I had like questions and answers for a Geja to make to pin the blame on the Celestial Torchlight. There at the end, like when you guys all met, and Manasa was like, "Fuck this." And the stuff I was gonna tell you guys, I thought had like a 50-50 chance of you guys going the other way, and pinning it on the Celestial Torchlight because because Anson had said that it was two men, it was disguised.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was like, Ageja was gonna make the case that like, hey, watch this. He like casts minor illusion on himself and just like changes his robe, makes his arms a little bit longer and stuff. Is like, oh, now I'm disguised as myself. Like,
Yeah.
is like anybody can do that. That's like an easy spell for if you're trying to like like everybody knows you guys are like really good at what you do. Like, of course they would try to muddy the waters or whatever. And I had a bunch of other things that I was gonna pull out.
But I just said, screw this, attack!
Yep. And
Yeah.
it was them. They did kill. It was Machni and Ageja disguised as Arden and Paul.
Yeah, because when we started fighting, whoever got hit by Machni took radiant damage as well, right? Well, because I thought there was like burn marks, and we learned that it had come from like while we were fighting.
Yeah. Ageja was just using like when after they took Anson down, he actually just cast a flame strike.
Oh.
Which is fire and radiant damage, which is a cleric spell. Oh, by the way, Ageja is still playing by 3.5 True Necromancer rules, so he's technically a 17th level cleric and a 17th level wizard, as far as what spells he can cast.
Oh.
'Cause
Okay.
that was what he was when he was, he like retained like some of the old rules. That was kind of fun. So was Kakia. Kakia, well, actually, her stuff was so different. I just made a whole new subclass for Kakia. But she used to be a Mindbender sorcerer back in 3.5, which was all about like you sacrificed a bunch of spell casting to just have permanent thralls. So you just had like permanent NPCs, and you could like, as you got more powerful, your NPCs could be more powerful that you took over. So she had just nabbed a couple of Red Wizard guardians, because that's like what they do is they protect their wizards. So like she was like, oh, I'm kind of like a wizard.
I was just thinking. I know exactly what Liston would do if he learned of the Gynosphinx's temporal, abilities.
What's that?
Liston would definitely like go to Netheril as it was in the sky, and like just walk around or like learn magics from before the Sundering. I don't know if the Sphinx can go that far back.
I think so. It'd just be whether or not she would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other people in Ageja's crew were there was Haben Ryud, who actually was just named Robin Hood back in 3.5 because our buddy Dan didn't have too much of an RP, didn't care too much for RP, so he's like, fuck it, I'll call him Robin Hood. And he was a crazy motherfucker. He did crazy shit all the time. So I made him crazy. That was the skeleton ranger that when Arden did his divine intervention and it went poorly, it also brought him back, despite them not being able to bring him back because of not having the device. Yep, and then there was Machni, who you met quite a bit, and then there was Kazim, who showed up toward the end too, who was also a true necromancer, who was played by
what was his name? Melvin Mark.
It was Melvin, yeah. Buddy of ours named Melvin. Back in our first long campaign.
Kendall?
Yeah, Kendall. Yeah, we mostly called each other by our last names. But yeah, and that was all of Ageja's crew.
Did we? How do we manage the new adventurers coming through the Celestial Torchlight? Are we doing like a timeshare where one of the Strataba is in charge at a certain point of the year where they have to take the vacancy and like watch over?
I mean, it depends on who who's involved. I don't know that. I know Liston's around quite a bit because you've got you're the mayor and you've got a couple businesses there and the lair and stuff like that you hang out at. So you're around.
That's true. There might be a couple more simulacrums
Is there
that
is there like
get added over the years.
would Liston have made something, since we'd all be like doing our own things and not knowingly just like in set places? Like, would Liston have something like his equivalent to like the red phone, to where if he picks it up and is like, "I need you," just suddenly all of us have like a rock that we're always carrying with us, just like we can activate it, it teleports us directly to him.
Honestly,
You could definitely make something like that.
or having a sim at each of y'all's locations nearby.
We have our own personal
Hang out on
Liston.
the beach, like a newspaper.
Can your sim be my nanny?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you want that.
Kid poops the diaper and he's just like prestidigitation, like, all right, you're good.
I mean, I could definitely see a Liston being like a sim being comfortable in the Bastion, just hanging out there.
Yeah, definitely. That would be cool. I mean, you guys could
Actually, more likely your sim would be like in the room brewing up all the different figuring out how to make all the different types of alcohol,
Oh yeah.
like all the alchemy type stuff that you'd need to
Man, your Sims would become like different individuals with how wildly different environments they'd exist in
Yeah.
and shit. So
I go to Manassas Island and I'm like, why is this sim a beach bum? Like,
why does he have an
Scrub
eye
his hair out.
patch?
listed
What
for-
happened to me?
Yeah.
No, Sims are like fully physical, right?
They're constructs.
Yeah.
Isn't it like if they take enough damage, they just turn into water or something like that? Like they just poof?
ice and snow.
Yeah.
Wondering, my island would very much be like Sex Orgy Island. What the Sim?
Hey, the sim
He's like
follows commands.
Data on the next generation. Like, I am fully functional.
I am fully functional and versed in all of the ways. Oh.
The ladies love him.
The sim, just like Liston, is multi-classed into Bard, so there's your answer.
That's a good point. Did anybody else multi-class? We got Galavar,
Level 20 fighter.
and I think we definitely got a 20 barbarian because of your 24 strength and 24 constitution,
Yeah, I'm a 20.
Yep.
and then and the 20 druid for the unlimited wild shape and not needing to wave her hands around or say anything to cast her spells anymore.
I wasn't
So just-
multi-class, but I did know some druid shit, right?
That's true. Yeah, you did pick up a couple. Like I thought that would those would be neat, like little ribbon kind of abilities. Like they wouldn't help you be like a better barbarian, but they give you like some kind of cool
Right.
solutions to stuff. And I know you like animals, so I was
Duh.
like, hey, some druids teach you how to wild shape. That's cool.
I really liked whenever Meat had picked up the like Fey touched.
Yeah, that was cool. I'm glad we coordinated that.
Because everybody was just like, wait, did you multi-class? Like you're a caster now? And I'm like, nope. Like, wait, what? Like, what the hell's happening?
I couldn't remember. There was one thing on the list I wanted to do. Was go to the Feywild and get some like essence to make an earring or a ring. I can't remember if I said an earring or a ring for Argrol to give them Fey ancestry, like the perk of the feat that elves get, which was like just a advantage on being charmed and like possessed and stuff like that. Would be
Yeah,
an item I would have made for Argrol at some point.
yeah, that sounds good. I'll buy off on that.
How many
So-
times would Meat and the Stradava have to fight off the fucking hags like coming back?
Oh yeah.
Or did they learn their lesson?
So the thing is, you. So
captured
of those
a couple
three
of
kegs,
them.
Yeah, you captured one.
I have one in a
The other
Pokeball.
two ran. So they would only need to find a third to make a coven again.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't think they come back. They I think they had enough.
They
Kick
like,
their
oh,
asses
fuck.
hard enough.
We don't want to fuck with them again, and then maybe we won't break away as even as we did last time.
What
That's
is-
good.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a question a long time ago having to do with the hags, but I don't remember what it is now. I think it had something to do when we went underground and we found like the hag's root or something. I think it was our first encounter with the hag and we were like underground or something.
Oh, when we were in the marsh and we were like underneath the marsh itself, like in
Yeah.
those water tunnels and
And
shit.
she was naked.
That's where we met Catfishworthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That arc was pretty fun.
Also, I love
that
Catfishworthy.
might have been my favorite combat was when the Stradava was unknowingly all fighting each other.
I
Yeah,
was so happy
Probably
about how
my
that
favorite
turned out.
combat, in
That was
the
good.
campaign.
Done really well.
yeah, I could.
Yeah.
It made sense why, but like I could tell you were having a little trouble with like the combat. And I was just like, oh, there's just something going on. Let's roll 20, and then after the fact, when we realized what was happening, I was just like, oh fuck, he's like seeing everything as it is.
Yeah.
we're seeing the facade,
And it was funny.
and it's
Yeah,
fucking.
you were
with
seeing
him.
like half the battle, like
Oh,
essentially.
and the numbers, the damage numbers that were coming out were like just a little too close to what we were rolling, and it was like, wait a
Off by
second.
a little bit.
Yeah. Wasn't it Argyle that realized it first? It was just like,
Yeah, I
stop
think he
fighting
made
each other.
The first save. That was-
Yeah, me just like straight up like if it had been anyone other than Argyle that he was attacking, like you guys would have been toast.
I'm pretty sure I action surged too. Like I was
Yeah,
popping off real
You
hard.
did like over 100 damage or something.
Who was it? Was it who? It was me, Manasa, and Argyle on one side, and then me and Galavar on the other side.
Was that what it was? We got separated by the two tunnels.
that.
Yeah,
I know
Yeah,
Meat and Argyle were opposite of each other.
Yeah.
I like how Galavar just burnt that tree down because it was talking.
Yeah,
He was
No.
talking
He was
back.
talking, and then like he lit on fire, and it was just like, oh god! Oh!
Don't want to be helpful. I'm gonna say.
What else is there? What else did we do? trying to go through each arc. and
Remember
try
when
to-
we went to the east?
Yeah. What's that?
the east?
What about the
Yeah.
east?
We went over to the Dalelands.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we went
So
to the
this
Dalelands.
I actually have a list of all the arcs.
Mm.
What was
somewhere.
your least favorite arc?
Oh, let's see. All right, so I kind of named them.
Mhm.
It was Trapped in the Underdark. There's the Blood Claws Decimated.
Oh, we should tier list. We should do.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that'd
We
be
should
fun.
arc tier list.
Lurkwood Invaded. By the I loved that arc. Chilimber Liberated was a great arc. And that's funny because it's the fourth one on the list, and that's where Galavar joined us.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, this list is like 12 long. Then there's Anzin Reunited. That was a short one. That was probably my that was my least favorite arc right there.
Oh, you hate
And
Anzin.
only because it ended up I didn't bake. That was like my biggest failure as a DM. Like, was the ending of that one where, like, Argyle had to kill like possessed Anzin, and then you guys just brought him back, and I was just like, I should have like left some kind of other solution in there. But yeah.
Ah, I gotcha.
Black Razor Ascended. Yep. There was all that.
That was a long arc, the whole Black Razor thing.
Well, I mean, the Lurkwood, Chilimber, and the Black Razor, all three were long ass arcs.
Yeah, I remember the Lurkwood one. We had to have a specific map just so we could keep track of where we were in the Lurkwood, what
You
day
guys,
it
like-
was.
You
All that
recruited like 10 different factions to like help you fight, and then yeah, it was a lot. I mean, the Black Razor one was all over the place. That was cool. You got to go down to the bottom of the ocean, met a bunch of sea
Yeah.
elves. You helped another god. Well, somebody take a god died and somebody else took their place. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Wait, so we were adventuring for what? I don't know, 5, 8 years or something, like in game or something like that.
I think it's been 6 years.
6 years.
Because we had some downtimes in there too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's just like in that time, in those 6 years, there have been how many god deaths in this world?
Oh, yeah.
Like holy shit!
Yeah, that's pretty
It's
on
like
par.
direct result of us.
Yeah.
Either direct result or we've just been there to witness it while it's happening, like
Yeah.
helpless because we're not fucking gods.
Yeah, and then we had Hell Traversed. guys went into the hell for the knower of names and all that. Call of the Wild. That was the
Ah,
Fey run, or Feywild one.
that's a pretty good name.
Did you call it Call of the Wild after I named him? Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I think I put together this list as I was thinking about the end of the campaign, like kind of just organizing stuff.
I was waiting for the right time to pull out the name, and I figured staying his hand when he was about to murder one of the dudes was like, I was like, okay, it's now or never. This is it. Just yelling his name and having him be stunned, like what?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, that fight was kind of fun too. Because it was one of those fights where I was actually able to pull off like multiple. There was like stop the dragon, save the people.
We had quick time events.
Yeah,
it was basically quick time events, but in D&D.
And then we had Mother of the Abyss. So that was going and getting Nuala.
That one was very interesting. There was a lot of ways I didn't know that was gonna go.
Hell 2.0.
Then there was Party Time, excellent.
What? Oh, right.
Was Manasa's.
I like that one a lot, actually.
That was like a slice of life arc.
That was a good time. I was hoping, I want this to just be like super over the top, kind of thing. You're like jumping plane to plane to plane.
Yeah.
I'll admit with that one, I was like, every time we'd pop into a new one, I was like, we're gonna check out what this plane is. Oh no, we need to get the fuck out of here, apparently. Alright, we're out. I'm like, man, that was pretty cool, I guess. I wanted to see more of that weird place. But it's like, I imagine all those, you don't want to stick around in them for that long, or even more dangerous shit's gonna show up. Like, I don't know, the fucking, what was it, where we had to go to kill Blackrazor?
Oh yeah, the Shadowfell.
Yeah, like the Shadowfell. It seems like a place where, it'd be really cool to adventure if you actually, like, survive all of that shit showing up that you can hear in the distance. This is not for mortals.
I think my favorite was probably the Marsh. The Marsh was so good. There's just
I kind of have to agree. The Marsh.
I was gonna say the Marsh, but I felt biased, so I didn't want to.
No, the Marsh.
Yeah, we had political intrigue. We had, there was all kinds of stuff.
The epic final battle with Rob and Alexilith, and then Meat delivering the final blow.
The funny thing is that wasn't the final battle. The final battle was with Durant, like against. When
we were raiding the Yuan-Ti fortress
city,
to free the lizard folk that were trapped there.
And used as a sacrifice to summon a deity.
Yep, he was trying to bring back. What was his name? I don't know. Some evil deity.
Snake god to eat the world.
And that was on Marpanoth 30, 1492. I have that as a note in here.
I can never tell if these are actual months or if you're just making up words each time.
I mean, I have, on our start screen,
I trust you. It's just I'm always afraid to say anything because I'm like, yeah, that's a month. That's a date that exists.
It's October.
I love the Marsh. Every second of the Marsh was like just a different. The environments were so different wherever we were at the Marsh. So it was
also had.
It got everything.
Like there's kind of a couple of big twists in that one too. Like everybody learned that Meat was not actually a dumb gibbering hulk of a stupid man.
You were the chieftain's kid. You had a name.
Yeah,
we had to come up with a name for you. Like we didn't even have a name for you other than Meat until right before this arc.
Mm-hmm. Had to come up with a name, which Meat's name was Sunvara and his father was Savasha. Yeah.
Yeah, that Robin.
That was my first arc with New Liston too.
Oh.
So I think that was another reason why I enjoyed it so much, because I was just full wizard at that point, and I was like, this is awesome.
I'm just
Yeah.
glad you gave us draconic earpieces for those
Yeah.
of us who could not speak the language.
Yeah, because at that time they were still kind of closed off from the outside world, so they weren't typically using common. They were all speaking Draconic and shit. So when they were saying patricide, they were saying it in Draconic.
Yeah, I remember you guys keyed into that like immediately when you walked into Gamma and they started calling you patricide. And...
I think it was Manasa that was the first one that was like patricide. Wait,
yeah, she
that's,
like
isn't that
sat
like
up. I
father
watched her
murder or parent
sit up
murder?
like this. She was like patricide.
That makes me
Kill
so
his dad.
happy. That makes me so happy that it was like the twist that we had like baked in early on was like enough to cause a physical reaction from everybody.
And we really didn't come up with most of that until right before that arc.
Yeah. Well, because the whole thing was I had to come up with because the whole thing where he was framed for the killing of his father was something that I had in the pocket a long time
Oh,
ago,
okay.
and that was just like, all right, he's
And I
just
was
running
like,
around.
what if he was the chief of the whole
Yeah.
Marsh?
And then I was like, oh yeah, I figured he was kind of like running away because he was framed for the murder of his father or something like that. So he's on his own. And then you're like, hey, we should come up with something. Like, what do you got? And I gave you that. And then I was like, I don't know if I should like go over the top or just kind of keep it reserved or whatever. And you're like, oh no, if you do something with a character in this, you should always go big.
Why did you? Well, I mean, we could ask this for each character, but how did you end up in Mirror Bar, and what was the reasoning? Like, Meat went that far north.
At that point, he was pretty much just lost as had no direction or nothing to do at that point. Like he was initially outcast, or less so outcast, more of he was running for his life because he was framed, and so he was essentially just running around the world under an assumed identity, and had just made his way up there. But by the time he got there, he had no leads or anything on who potentially killed his father or what to even do about it, because he just wasn't in a position to go back there, because if he did at the time, he would have been executed, like tried and executed right off the bat. So he was pretty much just lost and without any goal in mind at the time, because he had nothing he could do besides wander aimlessly or go home and die.
I think we were both on the run at the start of the campaign. I think,
Weren't you running from the people that basically like the gang?
Oh,
the
the
Blood
cartel or
Claw,
whatever.
which, yeah, the Blood Claw were, what Jogira and Gardo were part of. Also, like basically Liston's family growing up from an orphan. And then, he wronged them at some point, made deals that he got, like, gold and items he was supposed to return to the Blood Claw, but ended up keeping for himself, and then was kind of on the
So it's
run
kind of like the
after-
Han Solo
It was
start.
it was very recent. It was like very, very, like he had only made it to Mirror Bar from Gauntlgrim.
I forgot that everything started in Mirror Bar at that. I didn't know where the tavern was.
Yeah.
Where the fuck
I
was
didn't even
Mirror
know
Bar?
that's where it started. I thought it started in Gauntlgrim.
Oh, Mirror Bar's way up there. Okay.
Yeah, we were all at an inn in Mirror Bar.
And I remember we were
I know,
fighting a
'cause when
bunch of zombies.
I wrote the song. Is the first line of the song was in a town called Mirror Bar, is where our heroes met.
Then we got lost in the Underdark going on a stupid quest to make some chump change and popped up. Where did we pop up out of the... Oh, it's where the Golden Hour Bazaar is.
Yeah. Or the
Yeah.
Or
Golden
Gauntlgrim.
It's not that far from the Lurkwoods, so I
Wow.
probably hadn't traveled that far. I just was running away from home because, you know, my parents wanted me to buckle down and be like scientist education, you know, like, and I just wanted to party.
What was Argrel's reason for being in Mirabar? Did we have a?
Oh,
That's a good
That
question.
was when
I mean, I thought it was because you were looking for your dad.
Was
He
it?
left and you were wandering around because he left
Oh.
and stopped coming back to the cave, and you went out to
Yeah.
find him, and you just happened to be passing through at the time.
And he was
Yeah.
Goliath.
Well, our house, like he just like abandoned the house.
Yeah.
And Argrel was like, I'm hungry. I have to leave eventually. So yeah, that's why he went out because Anzin just didn't come back. So
Yeah,
yeah.
he was looking for Papa.
Father.
He had that hat of
Father.
disguise, and you
He was
looked like a.
Goliath.
Couldn't hide his tail though. Apparently, I remember that was the first thing is him trying to like hide his tail. It's like for some reason a Goliath had a tail that nobody noticed. So it wasn't
Yeah,
wasn't
Oh.
perfect.
I still regret ruining that. I wasn't thinking. I was like, shit.
Oh, he did the big reveal
Right.
early on.
Well, no. I labeled myself Argrel the Null in the
Oh,
server.
yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I'm stupid. I should have, like, not. Fucking dumb. I should have kept that a secret from everybody and done, like, an actual big reveal. I ruined it.
So, Manasa, the plant that your parents gave you, when you pot it and you make it grow, if at any point you kind of just tap it, like the pollen off the flower of the big, it's got a big old fluffy flower on it. If you poke it, the pollen poofs off of it, and then it settles in the air in like a portrait, kind of like 3D portrait of the three of you. Just kind of like hangs out in the air for a little while before it like settles back down.
that is
Aw.
that's really cool, but also a really messy ass analog for a picture.
Well, I mean, it'd be outside, so.
It's like a party popper every time it goes off, and you're like, ah, that's really great. I know I have to clean this shit up.
I feel like my daughter would absolutely love playing with that and would constantly be touching it and seeing the picture of, you know, mom and grandma and grandpa. And then, like, it would go away, and then she would do it again.
That kid,
Over and over and over.
that kid is gonna have a lot of weird uncles, like really cool and stuff. Cause like I don't know, would you consider the Stradival like honorary like godparents or something?
Oh, absolutely.
Uncle Argrel coming over would be the coolest thing. Just a giant.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
giant dog. Little baby
Puppy.
crawling all
Yeah.
I got
Like
you guys
Argrel
a
sitting down, just like
pony.
wagging. Just like.
The child's like tapping
Drooling
Argrel
all
in the
over
face, and he's just blinking, just like.
Just yanking on his ears.
trying to poke Argrel in the eye, because that's what we do.
Just
Those
keep
children don't know how to
blinking.
behave around animals. Yeah.
Or Meat would be the uncle that like Manasa has to keep an eye on because keeps doing dangerous stuff with the kid, like trying to take them on actual dangerous adventures in the woods with swords and stuff, or like doing the thing where like throw them up in the air, but like a little concerningly high each time.
Going to meet Call.
Oh yeah.
Because, I mean,
Like-
she's half dragon. I wonder how that would work out.
Call doesn't like other dragons that much.
Yeah, Call does not like other dragons at all.
That's why it's like Meat's one of like his retirement kind of like goal is to find a suitable
Dragon.
mate for Call that actually Call doesn't want to kill or see as a threat or something, which is going to be very hard to do. So I think it'd be a good idea to not
Very well.
take the
That-
child anywhere near the dragon. That it's a black dragon that spits acid. I don't think you need to. I don't think you want your kid anywhere near that. it took this long to get it to tolerate like anything.
We could take it to meet the Sphinx.
Oh yeah, the Sphinx. Wait,
Once we get the amusement park up and running, we could just, it's like taking the baby to Disney World.
yeah. Hey, you want to go meet a Sphinx? Yeah.
Stinks.
Thanks.
Whatever happened with the werewolves from there? Did we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Narla and Burkett. Yeah, they're doing all right. They got back to their people and just kind of picked up where they left off.
Howling at the moon and scratching their own butts. And dragging their ass across the carpet.
Now, would they be the kind of people that would love to run Argrel's animal sanctuaries? Or at least one of them, wherever they live?
Yeah, did we ever get a bearing on their character? Like their moral character or like what they do? Because I think we just kind of ran into them and then we like spared them so they could go somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, they were just people, Like the one was a werewolf, so I think they'd be too afraid of accidentally eating some of the wildlife. Some
A full moon, things
Full
go
moon.
missing. Yeah, that'd be unfortunate. Trying to think of any other people we came across in the past. Huh. Did the whalebones ever recover? I think, wasn't it like mostly abandoned because of some shit going on with Black Razor or something?
Yeah, it was
We-
sieged and we protected it at one point.
But we had them, they refused to abandon it, so we had them in one area of the island with protection around them. I had made what is that called? My druid's like circle or whatever.
That's where
Oh, your grove.
That's where Jank died in that fight.
That's right. And then we brought him back, and he was not necessarily very happy about it.
Yeah. But so as soon as the Black Razor died and that war was over, they would have been able to immediately go back to their
Yeah.
home.
like
think that's-
Jank.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the cool ones. Like one of the, he's the leader of the
I thought it was the
Varanus-
the
Varanus
or
clan.
It was the middle.
Yeah,
piranhas, yeah.
I almost said Karita, but that's something else.
Yeah.
But no, I spend a fair amount of time at the Whalebones because it's so close to my island.
Which, to give you an idea, like whenever I was saying before how Meat is changed by the adventures and kind of like everything he's been through, the way Jank responded to being brought back to life is typically how a lizard folk would, and Meat is like so far beyond that he doesn't really want to die or like go out in a blaze of glory anymore. He just kind of like wants to keep living. So he's
You
kind of
prefer
lost
to
some
die
of those.
in your bed of old age at this point.
Well, that's the thing, is he's outlived what should be the old age for lizard folk because he's like touched by the Feywild, so he's got some kind of weird thing keeping him alive and keeping him like not young, but keeping him from aging as rapidly as lizard folk should.
Yeah, because they don't usually live that long.
No, like Meat
Or
was
like
already,
dog years type.
I don't know. Meat I think was already like 20 years to their nearest like life expectancy or something like that. I can't remember exactly what his age was. He kind of lost track too with all the shit going on and being resurrected a few times. Which I think, was Meat the one brought back to life most often? 'Cause, like, in the-
You or me.
Yeah, it's one of you two.
Yeah, because in the Black Razor like arc, he died like 3 times.
Didn't Manasa die twice in this latest arc with a fight with Agasia?
I think that's true.
Was it died or just like knocked
like,
unconscious?
died,
Because
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure.
one
Yeah,
time he
died.
died. I remember for sure.
Yeah,
I
he died
died.
once, I think.
I feel like I've died at every single arc, every single arc almost. It feels like.
Some of those were by your
That's
own
a wizard.
hand, though. Honestly.
I had some quick notes of things that I was planning on doing, and I haven't read these in a long time. But a beer company wants to have Argral as a figurehead, and then I had some notes. It said no reserve, Arg Rolling Rock, and Dos Argrals.
Those are girls.
My God.
Arc rolling rock.
Uh,
Funny.
Uh,
Nolan rock.
And I did
Wow.
have a note that I planned on having Snarla and Burkett run into the Stradivarius. I was planning on, like, maybe you guys found the bones of a Saint Magmus, who is a half-orc cleric of Saint Cuthbert. And his bones would be an artifact. And that would be my first character.
Mm.
Oh.
Only his name wasn't Magmus. It was I switched around the letters because I couldn't have a Saint Smegma as a.
I was about to say.
No.
Wow.
What the fuck?
I named him that, and nobody knew what it meant. But every time they were like, "Smegma, I need healing," I'd be like, "Okay." And then after like 3 months, the DM was like, I walked in, and he's like, "I looked up your name."
Oh no.
And he was just like not happy. Like, he was a pretty serious guy, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Aw. Honestly, that's really funny more than anything.
I also had Manasa acts as an avatar of Deep Seychelles and fights an avatar of Umberly. I thought that would be
Let them
pretty
fight.
badass.
Kaiju
Except
battle.
we already had the avatar of Deep Seychelles.
Yeah, wasn't somebody else the Avatar?
Yeah, when we
Well-
finished the fight, who was it? It was someone that we were like, it was like
Yeah, I forgot her name,
we were.
but she
friends
was
with
like
her,
the
though.
cleric.
Priestess, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Good time.
Was
I also at one point, this is like the last thing I have, but I wrote a children's story that would pop up on the Sword Coast. Once upon a time, there was an elfin princess that lived in a forest, but she was adventurous and wanted to see the world. She packed her favorite toys and left the forest to explore. During her travels, she saw many wondrous things and made good friends that were brave and smart like she was. One day, the princess received a message floating on the wind. It was from her parents, and they wanted her to come home right away. She quickly returned to the forest, but it was a trick. Her parents hadn't sent the letter. Some mischievous monsters had. They had wanted to capture the princess and force her to play games with them. But unfortunately for the monsters, the princess wasn't alone. She had brought her friends with her. With her friends' help, the princess traveled around the whole forest, stopping to talk to all the people, plants, and animals. She talked to the wise elves, the sticky trees, the tricky gnomes, the hungry wolves, the rude goblins, the quick tabaxi, the joyful birds, the jolly furbolgs, the playful squirrels, and even the mysterious witch. Together they made the monsters go back to their home that was on a mountain very far away. Everyone was happy after that. Once again, the princess left the forest with her friends, free to continue exploring the world.
Nice.
Oh, it's a fucking children's story from the Lurkwood.
Yep. It's the Lurkwood arc. The tabaxi, of course, being red.
So hot.
Well.
No one
So,
ever figured
how
out
about
why
that?
meat wasn't able to sire a child. Nobody really looked into that one.
So, yeah. Whale is right. Cool, guys. I say we consider this all wrapped up. To be
Okay.
continued.
I have one last quick question.
Mhm.
With the Underdark arc, the first one, it felt like it was one of the longer arcs, like as long as, like, say, the Lurkwood or something. But was it not that it was a long arc, and more that just like we were still getting scheduling down back then, so it was like time length longer or
I
something?
don't know. I think it was pretty long.
Because it felt
just-
very rich with all the different, like, the intrigue and everything going on.
Yeah, trying to figure out why the people are disappearing and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And getting played.
I didn't start taking really good notes until the Lurkwood.
And we didn't start recording it until, what, halfway through the Lurkwood? Or something
Yeah,
like that?
I think the Lurkwood is where we started experimenting with like
It's
recording.
Twitch streaming, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right to me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember it feeling like a really long time, but it was like all the story notes and stuff that was hitting was pretty condensed into specific like sessions when there was a lot going on, like when we were either raiding the city or figuring out a way to get safely into the city and across the, what was it, like a big like wasteland between where we were and like a canyon and like the city was just full of fucking spiders.
Yep, and Manasi
Yeah.
getting into bar fights.
I was
getting
gonna
into bar
say that
fights.
bar fight. Everyone's like,
Shillelagh.
"Yeah, bar fight," and then she's like, "Shillelagh," and there's like, somebody said this just turned from a bar fight into assault.
Oh yeah, and then that was back when like Meat was still just really zany and shit. So he's just like, "You fucking what? I swear, me mom!" Like, wake up now! I, like punched him in the face or something like that.
Yeah, it was
And
so
everyone's like, "What the
early.
fuck?"
I remember my,
Hadn't really,
my
like-
suggestion right outside of Lyco City of having that guy take his pants off, so he is immobilized. That was one of my first spell, or one of my first
Yeah.
suggestions.
Yeah, he spent the
damn it.
whole fight taking his pants off. That was so good.
And so there I was fighting the Stradivarius, trying to get my pants off.
That was like one of the last fights with Rocky in it,
Yeah.
because I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
he was like on the edge of the fight, and they summoned a. It was just an illusion, but a dragon. Like they were like summoned a dragon.
Oh.
And I think
I was
he
gonna-
like kicked it or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, whatever happened to Rocky in this world? Did he?
Yeah, did we?
Is he still in the Underdark, just wandering around, trying to be like,
Did you
guys?
have anything for that?
I wasn't gonna kill him,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know where he is.
He's just still in the Underdark then, just wandering around.
He's somewhere out there.
Some say if you listen to the wind, you'll hear wind. But if you think really hard about Rocky, you might think you're hearing him or something.
All right.
Alright.
Well, bye, stream.
Bye, stream.
Until next time.
Bye.